afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the United Hour, the breakdown. I am your host today, Mr. Devin Walker, and with me today, I have the number one guest there is, Mr. Zahir, aka can never hear from Miss Zara. Zahir, how you doing today?
Still waiting to hear from Zara. So if Zara ever sees this video, hey, call me girl.
So let me jump into a little bit of these comments first, real quick now. First one, yeah, you can celebrate today right now. Second one, shout out to my best friend, Mr. Stefan. Thank you so much for joining in. We have somebody joining in now all the way with a French connection now. So this shows the outreach now of the United Hour. So if anybody says that we don't have a big outreach, here you go right now. But let's get into it. And we have to unfortunately bring up a topic right now. Manchester United season kickoff at Old Trafford. Brand new signings, everything as well. And you know what? We get blanked at Old Trafford 1-0. Before I get into lineups and substitutions right now, Zahir, what was your overall assessment of the match?
Well, on a personal level, I think the team played a lot better than they did throughout last season. One. I even had my friends who are Arsenal supporters admitting to me after the game that United played over the 90 minutes the better football. Right? I think we were very unlucky not to score. There were some, little melees and scrambles in the Arsenal defensive area that, a ricochet here or a snapshot there could have gone either way. Dogu on a couple inches to the left on the post was scoring a wonder goal. But I don't look at it so much as Arsenal beat us. Because I don't think they outperformed us in any real area. I look at it as once again a goalkeeping error has cost us 3 points.
I could not agree more. So if you looked at my assessment right now, when I saw it as well, I thought that overall we played some great football as well. I think Raya had a superb performance in goal today, and that was a huge difference in how they got their 3 points today. So if I'm an Arsenal fan looking in right now, like especially one of my very good friends Joel in here, I would be sitting there saying Raya better not pay for anything in London for this week coming up because he's the reason why they walked with 3 points there today. For us, it was one set piece, one goalkeeping error. That was difference from 3 points to 0 points for us today. But before I get into more of that, I just want to go over the lineup right now. So for Manchester United, quite a surprise to some people, Bayendir was in goal today because there were rumors that Onana was set to start. Our back line of Euro, Delict, and Shaw, midfield of Dalot, Casemiro, Bruno, Dorgu, and then our front three of Mbumo, Cunha, and Mount. For the Gunners, Raya in goal, back line of Calafiore, the goal scorer, Gabriel, Saliba, Ben White, midfield of Rice, Zubamendi, Odegaard, front three of Martinelli, Gyökeres, and Saka. So when you saw these lineups, what was your thought?
Arsenal definitely had the superior midfield combination. We can't hide from that. Right now, Bruno and anybody playing in those deeper two positions is not going to work. It has to be somebody else and anybody else, not Bruno. Right? Up front, I think we matched up well with them, with Mbeumo, with Cunha. Um, I would have preferred to see Sesko start, but I understand why he didn't. Right? I think basically for this season, if we can get a midfielder in, then it's going to be one of Bruno and Mount playing. I can't see us accommodating both of them going forward. I like the wing back play on the left from Dogu, not so much from Dalot. Right, I would not have started with Dalot, but again, I understand why, because defensively he gives you a little more than Ahmad would. And I think the starting buy in there, even if Onana is not 100% fit, I think he's even close to 100% fit. I think starting buy in there convinces or tries to convince the board that, look, I need a better keeper because I have issues with my starting keeper and I use my backup keeper, and it's his error that costs us the game. The defense, the three at the back were wonderful. I have no faults with them.
Yeah, I would have to agree with everything that you said there. I want to bring up this question from Kes as well, Kes the band. Question why we did not start our natural nine. In my opinion, he did not have a preseason with us. So to ask him to go in from the start right now, I think would have been asking for too much. I mean, if you look at the other side, Gyökeres came in late and he was non-existent today. And we all know how the press is with Manchester United players, so they would have had a field day with that. So for this one, I actually understand why he did not start. My biggest issue that I had was probably why Ahmad did not start. I thought we were a little bit too defensive and showing a little bit too much respect to the Gunners. And I have to say, we were still very, even with that being said, we were still very attacking minded. I think that our standout player had to be this man behind me. Cunha came in and he grabbed the game by the horns. He stepped up. I thought he was phenomenal today.
So he had one run, and in that one run, his first run where he really ran at Arsenal, you realize how much different he is to Rasmus and Ziggy, in that neither of them will pull that off. They do not have the physical presence or the strength or the determination to pull that off. They may be good at whatever they're good at in their own ways, but he brings a whole different ball game, and I am really excited to see when we get Benjamin Sesko up to speed and we can have him as the target man to those two guys out in the wider areas and even Bruno, how many different patterns of play we can use, because there were clear patterns of play today. You saw exactly what they were thinking of every time they got the ball, right? We didn't look at any point in time like, oh gosh, we're going to get about outside the box and then start to go backwards. No, the overall play was encouraging. 1-0 to Arsenal on the opening day. I can live with that. I mean, it's not like if I went 0-0 with Crystal Palace or anything like that, right?
So, as of course, like a Trini he is, we have a late appearance in here right now. So I'd like to give a special welcome to the man himself with a great kit on right now, Mr. President Chad. Good afternoon, President Chad.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you all?
Well, we wondering why did you reach late? I mean, all kind of hullabaloo about national parade and all this kind of patriotism, and yet you bouncing it late. So what's this keeping you from your channel?
Boy, you know where it's going. You know where it's going. The man's are the president.
The man said President put his foot down, he can enter when he wants. Well, so I will continue this conversation from Mr. Kesslerman right now. I understand that, but Pedro started almost immediately for Chelsea after one training session in the Club World Cup. Shesko is a thoroughbred striker. He is more ready than we can ever imagine. I still go back to what I said before. It's a different media for Chelsea versus playing for Manchester United.
So is it that some people feel that Amarin got the starting lineup wrong? Is that the consensus in the chat?
I believe
I
that is
believe so. There are questions for the forward. People are a little like, why we have a out and out number 9 and we didn't start him. But had we started Benjamin Sesko, let's play devil's advocate here. I take Kess's point, right? I respect Kess's opinion. But guys, if we had started with Sesko, two things. One, would he have been able to run the 90 minutes? And two, if he's not running the 90 minutes and you take him off, at what point you taking him off, and you're taking him off for who? For either Hoyland or to bring in Mount as a number 9, which is automatically a drop in standard.
Nah, well, Hoyland wasn't on the team sheet at all. You know, I hear that, but I totally understood what the manager was doing. I mean, look, if Bayern there had a howler, people would have say why he didn't start Onana, and he didn't start Onana.
Yeah.
But for the same reason he didn't start Sesko. They were not match ready, and it really doesn't matter. Look at how Bucharest look today. Now part of that is Arsenal system, but also part of that is being up to speed with your team, and that comes through playing. So I think it's premature to throw the, well, I don't want to say throw the manager under the bus, but to be on the manager case for the starting lineup. The reality is we played all over Arsenal. We should have won that game. We created more open chances from open play. And if our finishing was a little better, if we were a little more composed in front of goal today, we would have easily won that game. Easily. So
So
I think based on the performance, the managers choice was spot on. No, I do understand that there were a couple times when Mbumo, when Delo on the cutback off of Mbumo got the ball down the wing and there was nobody in the box to cross to. And I understand the frustration. The belief is that if Sesko was on the pitch, he would have been charging into the box and he would have had somebody to cross to. I understand that frustration. But we seeing the progression and we had allow players to fall in when they're ready and not rush anybody.
so I
There's
want
no
to
need to
frame
rush
this
anybody.
comment, and then I'm going to move on from this topic. Kesslerman, yes, Shesko is known for leading the press. I'm not against the starting lineup, but look at the plays in the first half that had Shesko been on, he would have eaten. When Shesko came on, the crosses dried up. That is an interesting topic, but I do want to highlight the one goal in the match. Minute 13, set piece, something that Arsenal were known for scoring on last season, and something we learned from preseason was one of our weaknesses. Ball comes in. I have to say Bayandira was very easily bodied out of position by Saliba, left a wide open header at the back post for Calafiori to get on top of. I don't know about you gentlemen, but I see two big errors with that. I thought Bayandira was very weak commanding his box. And the second thing is, why was nobody marking Saliba so that Bayandira could have a clear path to the ball? Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on that?
The man reminded me of the early days of David De Gea. The way David De Gea used to have problem with cross balls and corners into the box before he got used to the physicality of English football and did a little gym work and got himself up to scratch. And I can't put it down to the guy being inexperienced or not used to playing because he played through the entire preseason. Right? If you're a backup keeper, brother man, you got to be ready to step up when it's time to step up. Today was your audition. Had you done well today, you could possibly have been looking at maybe a month-long stretch where you get to be the man to try and prove to them, well, all right, we don't need a keeper, I go handle things, I go hold it down. And you fail your first audition.
So, President Chad, before you go, I want to highlight this comment from Mr. Joel as well, not Joel. Being an Arsenal fan, United showed attacking promise, and with due time, they will build chemistry and it will pay off in the long term. Arsenal showed its defensive depth and strength. Man United need a goalkeeper. President Chad, the first question is, do you agree with that sentiment? And then the second one is, what are your thoughts on the goal?
Well, he is correct as far as us looking good. He's also correct as far as them defending well. And as far as us needing a goalkeeper, I don't know if you remember my comments in different groups. I've been telling people for months Manchester United is going into the season with Onan. And every time I say it, people get mad at me. People tell me all kind of, and I don't care because I knew Manchester United was going into the season with Onana. As far as I'm concerned, we have a goalkeeper. And that's a mute conversation because it is not going anywhere. We are not buying a goalkeeper. So why am I going to stress myself out about something that is not going to happen? Right now, we have a goalkeeper and I am comfortable with him. My challenge, literally 60 seconds after the situation with Bayern, he passed out a ball. Bruno Fernandes was running down the road into Arsenal's box. And I think it was Saliba, bounced him in the air and just outside the penalty area, and we got a foul. Right? We got a foul because the player was in the air and he got bodied, and we got a foul. And I'm trying to understand how in open play, a player could be in the air and get pushed, and that is a foul. And when a goalkeeper jump, and he get pushed into his goal. That's not no foul. Now I understand Bayanda was weak. I don't disagree with Bayanda being weak. All I saying is, if it's a foul when Bruno Fernandes jump in the air and he get pushed by the same player, how is not foul when the goalkeeper jump in the air and get pushed in the goal? That's all I had to say.
You
I I
know,
I, I find that it I cannot see a strong argument for that goal not being overturned, especially when the exact same thing happened on the field of play 60 seconds later.
it's one thing that's interesting as well because I am not sure if you watched the matches before that. I'm talking specifically about Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Did anybody see Eze's goal that was disallowed?
No.
No, I started watching that game later. I didn't see it.
All right, so long story short, it was a set piece. Gahey was in the wall, and he used his body to push the Chelsea players out the way as he hits a rocket that goes into the goal. They disallowed it and said it was a foul for very similar to what Saliba did. Now, what I'm going to say on this one is, in no way am I defending Bayendier for what he did because I'll be the first one to say it.
No,
He was very
I
weak.
agree. He was weak.
But the next issue that I have is if it is disallowed in this game because VAR overlooked it, why was it not the same not done here?
Yeah, because if it is, I could push
and then
the goalkeeper into the goal, right? And that not be a foul. As a defender, I am putting out as a team, as an attacking team, I am putting a defender to push every goalkeeper into the goal every single
now
game.
the next thing I want to point out was we were told going into the season referees would start being more aware of the jostling in the box on set pieces. So you see the first match, and I'm thinking, okay, we'll see some consistency with the call here. You come into this match, and it's not that case. And again, I want to make it very clear. I am making no excuses for Bayendier about this.
Neither am I.
But you know what? It was a goal. And I watched it real time. And I have to say, I still, if I'm the ref, I am not calling the foul on Bayendier, which the ref did not. And unfortunately, I still believe he got it right. That the goal should have stood. And I'm saying this as a United fan. It hurts to say it, but I have to try my hardest to not be biased, which I know sometimes is harder than it looks.
My thing is not because I agree that the goalkeeper was so. But my thing is, where's the consistency? If it's a foul in the outfield, it should be a foul in the penalty box. That's all I say. They each their own. People can decide their own minds, but that is my argument. There's a foul in the outfield, should be a foul in the box.
So we're getting ready to go into the last third of our show right now. Let me start with this first. Who was your standout player from a Manchester United perspective? Because I'm pretty sure we all agree for Arsenal was Raya. So for Manchester United, we have to ask who was your standout? Zahir?
Toss up between Cunha and Mbeumo. Kind of hard to between one of the two. I don't know. To me, they both had good games. They both worked hard. They both did what was expected of them. I would have probably split the award between two of them.
One of the things that I really appreciate is us using Mbeumo as an outlet because he is quick, he's fast, and it shows the adaptability of Amarin. That Cunha is allowed to take the ball and run through the middle of the park, which he did excellently twice in the game, made some very good runs, broke down the defense, and Mbeumo was seen as an outlet and given the ball quickly on that side. And I know those two things are going to pay dividends for us throughout the season. Today, I agree with Zaire. It's hard to split them. Those two were definitely the standouts. And the way that they were used by the manager today fills me with a lot of confidence going forward. Because when you see guys playing to their strengths, doing what they are accustomed doing, and it suits the team and it creates opportunities for the team, you know that we definitely going to be more dangerous going forward. So Cunha and Mbeumo.
I would have to give it to Cunha with an honorable mention to Mbumo because I thought Cunha for his first match. You know what? Some people, the shirt weighs very heavy on them. It looked like Cunha fit in perfectly today.
Hey, yeah, but Dev, you have no
Cunha was
choice.
confident in his
You have
run.
no choice but to give it to him. The man literally looking over your shoulder as you're saying this. So you have no choice but to give it to the man.
Yeah, and the best part about that is I can choose my background, so I did it on purpose. So that says something too. And like I said, I would give the honorable mention to Brian and Mbumo, and it's saying something that our two newest signings were standout performers today. Um, we have to talk about where we think we can improve, and this is why I wanted to wait for this specific comment right here. We need to have a conversation about Ugarte when he came on the pitch. I think he gave the ball away a couple of times. Well, there was one specifically where if it was not for a good intervention, we probably would have had our deficit doubled. We all know going back that Amarim had sold Ugarte when he managed him as well. So maybe there's something going on there. However, I have another thing to bring up right now. I thought that Arsenal did a good job of keeping Bruno out of the game as much as they could. I don't know what say you gentlemen, but I think those were two big concerns for us. Obviously, we know the goalkeeping one, but those two, what say you gentlemen?
Um, as far as Ugarte goes, we have to understand that the same way strikers could be out of form, any player could be out of form in their position. We have seen Ugarte play excellent. We have seen him spread the ball. We have seen him shut down everything in the midfield. We have seen in the last two occasions, he looked horrible. He didn't even look average. He looked horrible. He looked like a just poor in the midfield, right? Looked like a liability
Like
to
a
the team,
Timu version of McTominay.
right? So, but I am not ready to just say, well, all right, we don't want to see you guys for the rest of the season. No, no, no. Sometimes players just be out of form. Sometimes they just don't perform well. And the same way, I don't expect to see him get a start. But I do expect, depending on the situation, especially if we're leading, that you could put him on and you know he'll play himself into form because we know there's a way better player than we've seen the last two games. As far as Bruno Fernandez is going to have to figure out how to play that deeper role and attack properly and be and contribute in an attacking sense. Is yes, Arsenal did a fairly good job on Bruno, but I think also Bruno staying deeper and not making the forward runs also kind of kept him out of the game. Now, when you have Cunha and Mbumo who can be creative and who bombing forward, you know, Bruno has I don't know what the instructions from the manager is or will, but you know, he would have to figure out that balance. So I think it'll take us a little bit to see exactly how Bruno is going to fit into this team. But I don't want to give all that credit to Arsenal. I think part of it is him playing the deeper role as well.
So I want to highlight this comment. Bruno's role has changed. He's spraying balls from deep. He certainly needs to be sharper defensively because his mishap led to the corner, which led to the Arsenal goal.
That was written for Kes by Big Phil.
It's yeah, probably more than likely, but you know what? This match, it's in the past now. We saw some promises. And you know what? It took one goalkeeping error, which is the only reason why a team that are considered to be title contenders to beat us that way. Because other than that, they didn't have that many other good chances I could see. Now, with that being said, we have a week between now and our next match. We will be playing away at Craven Cottage next Sunday against Fulham. Based upon what you saw today, gentlemen, how do you feel about that game next week?
Hopefully we start Sesko. Right? And not with Mount as this false number 9. Hopefully, he realizes that he should start Ahmad as well if you want him to play as the right wing back. I have no problems with the three who he started with at the back. Shaw, Dillit, and Euro. We go in with that. Right? I have no problems with Dogo on the left hand side, and I have no problem with Mbomo and Cunha. So if I had to make changes, that's my two changes. I'd be starting with Sheshko up front instead of Mount, Ahmad on the right, and until we get a midfielder, it's going to have to be Bruno plus pick one from Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo to start next time in the middle.
I didn't expect to see Ahmad start today. And the reason I didn't expect to see, and I don't expect to see Ahmad start, especially with our midfield not being perfect. Because when we play big teams, when we play in the Arsenals, the Chelseas, the Manchester City, we need more defenders on the pitch. Right? We need people who have a defensive mindset. Can Ahmad play as a wing back? Yes. But he is no defender. All right? So we're going to need that cover. Playing Fulham, I could see Ahmad getting the start because that is a team that we expect to dominate. That is a team we expect to go to and for them to be more defensive in their posture against us. So I could see Ahmad getting a start. However, we have to understand with Dogu and Delo and Sesko up front, you're going to get crosses from the left and the right side. If you have Dogu and you have Ahmad, you're not going to get crosses, or at least the quantity of crosses from Ahmad's side. There is always a give and take. It is not just, pop in Ahmad and no. I expect to see Ahmad, yes, because we play in a team that we shouldn't be afraid of. Not that we are afraid of Arsenal because we didn't play with any fear today, but we play in a team that we shouldn't have that much respect for. But it is going to affect the quality of crosses and the quantity of crosses that's going to come into the box. So let's see how it goes. But Ahmad and to be honest, Delo as well, they've been forming good relationships with Mbumo, and that's good to see.
So we have this comment. Castellan, we will and must get 3 points because we have our
Absolutely.
noisy neighbors after. Which no, actually we have 2 matches before that.
Yeah.
So after Fulham, we've got Grimsby in the League Cup, and then we have Burnley at home. Which, by the way, more will be announced about that on our next show next week. But stay tuned because we have something special coming for that as well too. Gentlemen, it's been a great show as well. Final thoughts before we wrap up today.
I heard Chad say we didn't play with fear today, and I have to endorse that because in the past, last season, when we go 1-0 down, it's like we stop playing football. It's like the heads drop and nothing picks up, and we're liable to lose the game 2-0 or 3-0, scoring a consolation one in the end for 3-1. But even going behind the 13th minute, at no point did the team stop playing football. The team kept up the effort right through the half. In the second half, we had a period there where, like you say, it's probably only divine intervention and Raya kept us from equalizing or winning this game. Right, so we played for 90 minutes, and that, if that is the improvement that we get in at the start of the season, as the season progresses, it will be even better for us. And I will take the fact that we're coming in the second round of the League Cup this year as an advantage. It will give us some extra games against hopefully not the best opposition to start to iron out some of the things that we need to.
And we'll give guys like Yvonne and some of the other players an opportunity to get a run out. Because the reality of it is we're not playing one game a week most of the season. These guys are not going to get the opportunity because we still have Martinez to come back. There are some games I'm sure we're going to start Harry Maguire. And just going forward, I want to say that I expect to see Harry Maguire used as an offensive weapon in some games. I think Harry Maguire should start some games because he is still, until Sesko shows me different, our best finisher from set pieces. And I think there are some games we just have to try to put all our weapons on the pitch. I expect to see plenty late subs for Harry, not because I expect poor delayed performances, but once we need a goal, Harry Maguire is somebody we can put on the pitch, try to get a goal. So I expect to see Harry playing some key offensive roles throughout the season. The last thing I would say is poor results, but overall, I am pleased with what I've seen, and I leave today feeling a lot better about Manchester United prospects for the rest of the season.
So, final words from me before I wrap up the show. I completely agree. Like I said earlier, people see the scoreline, people will see that, but those people will not have watched the match. If they watch the match, they will know that it took a superb performance from Raya, who I have to give all the credit to today. He's man of the match. That's the only reason why Arsenal walked away with 3 points for only the third time in 25 years at Old Trafford, something like that. And it just took weak goalkeeping is the only reason why they scored. And again, this is a team that's supposed to be title contenders. Once we iron out our few things right now, I believe that we will be fine. So it is, people are panicking already, saying all this stuff and whatnot. I say, relax. Look at the bigger picture. We will be fine. And with that being said, gentlemen, we keep the red flag flying high because Man United will never die. President Chad, Mr. Zahir, thank you so much for coming on. Make sure that you all like, subscribe, and share the channel as well. And as I hinted at before, stay tuned because we're announcing something very special next week involving the Burnley match. Gentlemen, this is the United Hour.